Daily Detroit is brought to you in part by Milo Digital. From strategy to execution, Milo Digital puts you a step ahead of the rest. Learn more at milodetroit.com.
From the studios of Podcast Detroit, I'm Jer.
I'm Shianne.
And I'm Sven. Here's your Daily Detroit News Byte for Tuesday, April 17th, 2018.
Today's rundown, let's be honest, it's kind of fancy mayo.
Northville Downs will become luxury apartments.
Luxury apartments are coming to Detroit's University District. Shianne has the Daily Detroit exclusive.
Yet another boutique hotel comes to Detroit.
TEDx Detroit returns for a 10th year of spreading ideas.
The Motor City Makeover cleanup project is back and focused on alleys.
And we talk with the managing partner of PwC in Detroit about diversity training and its relation to attracting talent.
Let's get started with your Daily Detroit News Byte.
There's more horse racing news. Recently, we talked with you about the closure of the Hazel Park Raceway. Now, there are changes to Northville Downs. Luxury home builder Hunter Pasteur Homes say they have signed a contract to purchase 48 acres of the Northville Downs site and some land next to it. The track is next to downtown Northville and has been in operation for more than a century, with the current Northville Downs being constructed in 1944. Northville has one of the up-and-coming suburban downtowns and has quite a few beautiful historic buildings. Converting that much land to as many as 600 high-end apartments is sure to influence further development there. Northville Downs says that they're going to move their wagering and racing operations somewhere else, and that the track will remain open until development starts.
There's news about some new development along 6 Mile Road near the University District. Shianne Nosserini has the story. Shianne, can you tell us a little bit more about what you found out?
You know me, when I see something happening, when it comes to development, I have to poke my nose in. And I spoke with Corey Williams, who is one of the owners of the Wildermere and Strategic Business Development, and they bought this building back in 2016. He said that they started renovating the building right after they bought the building, and the first thing they focused on was renovating and renting out the 2 luxury apartments on the second floor. Those apartments have had tenants for the past 18 months, but it's flown under the radar.
Tell us about this building. How big is it?
So it's a 2-story building. And on the ground level, they're going to have 8,000 square foot of event space.
And that's called the Wildermere, I take it?
It is. The business name is the Wildermere, and it'll be an event space where people can rent it out for birthday parties, showers, community events. And it also has a full kitchen, so they're hoping that they'll be able to host pop-up restaurants and theme nights.
And when's this expected to open?
So it's expected to open in May.
All right. Thanks a lot, Shianne. Daily Detroit is brought to you in part by Digital Marketing Secrets Revealed. On May 3rd, you'll learn about the future of digital marketing and strategies to succeed in this competitive space. For more information, visit DetroitChamber.com.
West Elm, the furniture and home decor retailer, is building a new hotel in Detroit. The 130-plus room upscale property will be built next to the Bonstel Theater, just south of Woodward Avenue and Mack Avenue, or Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard for those Westsiders out there. Detroit is one of just 6 places in the United States that are getting full-service West Elm hotels. It'll be built as a partnership between Detroit-based Roxbury Group and Brooklyn-based West Elm. There's also a chance that a restored Bonstel Theater might be part of the overall plan. The Roxbury Group may partner to redevelop the theater. Separately, it was announced earlier that Wayne State University is relocating its theater program to a renovated Hillberry Theater on Cass Avenue in 2020. The Bonstel, built as a Jewish temple in 1903, has been a theater since 1925. The project is coming up fast. Ground is expected to break on construction in 2019. It's expected to open in 2020.
TEDx Detroit is returning for a 10th year. The day-long conference, an independently organized but licensed version of the popular TEDx conference, will move to the Masonic Temple on September 26th. Detroit's version of TED is one of the largest in the world. TED stands for Technology, Education, and Design. TEDx Detroit, according to organizers, is, quote, dedicated to sharing positive ideas for the world from Detroit through TED Talks, videos, and live speakers to spark deep discussion and connection, end quote. The tagline of TED events is ideas worth spreading, and the talks are generally shorter, less than 18 minutes long each. It's a popular ticket around town. Last year's event sold out in just 3 days. Tickets are on sale now for $75 for a limited time. If you're interested, performers and exhibitors can apply for speaking opportunities. More information is at TEDxDetroit.com.
The Motor City Makeover will be returning this May for its 5th year. The annual event brings communities, businesses, and schools together to help clean up the neighborhoods around Detroit. Last year, the Motor City Makeover collected more than 1,700 tons of trash and 8,000 tires from around the city. This year, the Motor City Makeover will focus on the alleys around the city. Here's Mayor Mike Duggan.
And now we're moving on to other things. And this spring in particular, one of the main focuses is going to be alleys. And it's an issue that I hear everywhere, and this is progress. Is now the neighbors are talking about not what's in front of their houses, what's behind their houses. You've got a lot of alleys in this city that you have a bunch of vacant properties. There isn't anybody back there on the other side to help you clean up. And so I would encourage, and I know many of the block clubs have already adopted their alleys as the focal point of the cleanup. But there's still time for you and your block club to work with your district manager to get in. And for anybody who just wants to volunteer, come out, make the city look a little bit better, and make some new friends, come to the website, sign up, and you got a choice of 3 Saturdays as we move across the city. And Charlie Beckham has promised that the weather will be great all 3 weekends.
The Motor City Makeover will take place on May 5th for Districts 1 and 2, May 12th for Districts 3, 4, and 5, and May 19th for Districts 6 and 7. Volunteers can register in groups or individually at motorcitymakeover.org or by calling 313-224-4415.
Attracting talent is one of the biggest issues facing employers and entire regions these days. After all, it was cited by Amazon as one of the prime reasons they left Detroit off its list of finalists for its HQ2 project. But so is diversity. Today, Starbucks announced it'll close down more than 8,000 stores for a day next month to conduct racial bias training for employees. It comes in the wake of protests after 2 black men were arrested in a Philadelphia Starbucks after asking to use the restroom. Recently, we spoke with Ray Telang, managing partner of PwC's Detroit office, about a novel approach that company is taking to diversity and attracting young talent. Here's part of that conversation, which we had at the Detroit Policy Conference.
So inside the main auditorium, we just heard a little while ago from Amity Millheiser, who's the Chief Clients Officer for PwC, and she talked a lot about the ways that PwC is kind of trying to build civility, one of the big conference themes here, into the organization. And you have something there called unconscious bias training, which is required, I gather, of all new hires. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so as we've studied, our own people, and as we've talked to educators and those that are experts in the field, we all come to work. We all come to every conversation, every relationship with unconscious biases. And what we've developed over time is what we've learned is that in order for us to be the best professional and to allow us to coach and develop our people who come from all walks of life, it's really important for each of us as leaders and as developers of people to understand our own personal unconscious biases as we interact and as we speak to and or lead various teams. And so every person that joins our firm, we hire 17,000 or so in the U.S. every year. Unconscious bias training is mandatory for them. In addition to that, if you've already been here before we put the mandate in order to get promoted, one of the requirements above and beyond just being certified or making sure that you've got all the business certifications is to ensure that you've taken that unconscious bias training.
How long has PwC been doing this, and what kind of difference have you seen it make?
So the actual mandate has probably been in place for the last 18 months to 2 years. we've been talking about unconscious bias training and unconscious biases in the workplace for the last 10 years or so. We've had a number of programs, a number of initiatives that have been targeted toward diversity, inclusion, and making sure that, whether it's gender-based or whether it's race-based over the years. But only recently have we begun to incorporate that. And frankly, it's becoming more and more a part of our culture versus something that we layer on top of what we do every day.
What kind of feedback are you getting from employees?
It's been outstanding. Frankly, the generation of young people that we're hiring today is these types of programs, these types of daily routines are, frankly, mandated by them and expected. And people want to come to an organization that is purpose-driven, that is focused on not only what we do to serve clients and within the four walls, but is very focused on what happens outside the four walls as well. And our focus on the total person is a really important part of not only how we attract people, but how we develop them and how we retain them. And the feedback has been outstanding. Are we perfect? No. There's plenty of road to travel for us as we continue down the journey. And it is a journey. I don't think you ever get to any destination. But certainly we've made a ton of progress, and the feedback has been very positive.
Amity Millhiser also talked about some interesting initiatives that PwC has toward kind of digital literacy, making sure that your employees are kind of keeping up to date on digital technology and skills and everything. Tell us a little bit about that, because you've got some unique training programs.
Yeah, so people are familiar with the megatrend of technology and the impact it's having on society.
I've noticed it, yes.
And the pace of change is accelerating faster and faster, and that curve is only going to get steeper as innovations continue. And as clients begin to or continue to transform and solve their most critical problems, technology is becoming a bigger part of those solutions as an enabler to the kind of change that CEOs and C-suites and boards are looking for. And so as we think about those solutions, we know our people need to be at the forefront of what's happening in the world of technology. And so we've developed some, and so that's one piece. The second piece is how we develop solutions in delivering some of our products and some of our services. It's really important for us to be comfortable and across all of our levels, even the old guys like me, to be very comfortable in those spaces and using the most latest and greatest technology. And then third, in order for us to have a productive personal life, technology is a big piece of that as well. And more, I talk to our young people that work for us. They're doing things in the evening to make their lives a lot easier, and they're sharing their stories with me and allowing me to have access to things that I never would have done on my own, which is terrific. And so what we've done is we've taken that kind of lens and developed an app, which we call our digital fitness app, which allows people to go in based on where you are in the world or where you are on the continuum to answer a bunch of questions about your level and your comfort and how you solve problems, how you behave on a daily basis. And then it gives you a score. And it kind of it's on a scale, I can't remember the exact scale, but it's like from 0 to 750 or so. But the most important part is, as an outcome of that, it also identifies podcasts and L&E and other types of tools that are targeted toward those areas that they think that we think would be more useful for you, given where you are on that continuum.
It sounds like you guys are also at the same time focused on kind of the flip side, which is don't be glued to your screens all the time.
Yeah, the importance of that personal connection is really
living an offline life sometimes.
And And yeah, exactly. Relationships matter on every level, and whether it's in professional services, whether it's political, whether it's in the corporate world, or whether it's in your personal life, relationships matter. And the only way to really get a trust-based and to engender a trust-based relationship is to have that one-on-one conversation with people. It can be enabled periodically through technology, but that face-to-face conversation where you can see body language and see facial expressions is unbelievably important.
Never goes out of style, right?
Never does.
Lastly, a tribute to Carl Kasell, a longtime NPR voice who died Tuesday at age 84.
Hey, Carl. This is Shianne, Jer, and Sven over at the Daily Detroit News Byte. Just wanted to let you know how much we enjoyed you all of these years and how your humor and brilliance is an inspiration to all of us. We all grew up listening to you and laughing with you. Just wanted to say thanks for making all those commutes just a little bit better. All right. Take care.
That's all for today's Daily Detroit News Bite.
Like the show? Tell a friend. Word of mouth is the best way to get the word out about our show.
Thanks for listening. Take care of each other, and we'll see you around Detroit.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
I feel like we need like a exciting music there.